Hey, dear ones, and welcome to another installment of the Soul Sessions, where I am coaching clients using Soul Blueprint. And we have a super powerful installment today where I'm coaching Carla Goldberg about something that I think affects all of us. And that is the sense of having a hole in your heart. So what that means is that something is missing. Something is missing from making you feel love, making you feel whole, making you feel complete, making you feel in alignment. And you know there's a hole there. You know there's something missing. And what we will do, if we're not aware, is we will fill the hole in our heart with the wrong things. That space inside that feels tender, empty, unfinished. The one you've tried to fill with work, relationships, helping others, being needed, but nothing quite fills it because we're not approaching it in the right way. In this session, I guide Carla into the deeper layers of her soul blueprint to understand where that hole came from and what it's actually asking of her. Because having that empty space isn't an indication that you've done anything wrong. It's actually an invitation, a doorway, inviting you back to your healing, your truth, your divine guidance, so you know the right way to fill up that piece of you that feels missing. So if you've ever felt that hollow piece inside for yourself, this session will help you see things quite differently and will help you fill yourself up the right way. Let's begin. Welcome, Carla, to this soul session.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, me too. So you had mentioned maybe we could explore today how to narrow down your business direction. Can you say more about that?
Yes. So since I started Soul Blueprint and working with you, I've really it sped up how I'm getting direction. And so it's changing constantly. But what I've been led recently, which I'd like some clarification on, is over the last, 6, 8 months, I've been really guided about how the earth is upgrading and things that we can do as humans to help that, and things that we used to do are no longer maximizing our efforts. And I feel like that is something I'm supposed to develop in terms of a book. And so I'm not really sure how to make that happen and transition, but I don't want to be, I also know I'm supposed to do podcasting, and I know I've always been a writer. So I know I've always had a book in me. I mean, since I was very little, I knew that. So I get scattery, and I don't know if they're all kind of coming together through this, not the end result, because there's never an end, but part of the process is a book later as I start to teach this to people. So does that kind of make sense, where I'm I feel slushy. I feel like a slushy.
Yes, it is crystal clear. I would love to just put this first through a business lens and then through a soul blueprint lens. Starting with the business lens, I like to always start at the end and always make sure that we have clear sight on what am I selling, because I love a podcast and I love a book and I feel that for you. But if you're not doing this as a hobby and you want to turn it into a full-time livelihood, we got to really ask the question, what is the podcast and what is the book leading people to get excited to invest in? And just it could be more than one thing, but what would be the premium offer it leads them to? And then when we get that, we can work back.
And that is a great question. I know what it's not. It's not one-on-one coaching. It's not one-on-one healing. I know I'm supposed to do like group things, and like I know retreats is part of that, but I don't see that as like the main, you know, uh, thing to just kind of keep doing retreats as the main focus. So I'm unclear as to what that would be. Um, and my spirit team always works with me where they give me a little snippet and they don't give me the full picture because they know I would freak out and say, no, that's too much. I can't do that. So they only give me like a little piece and it makes me think, oh, that little piece is what I'm supposed to do. But really there's like, 100 little pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, is this just a piece? And, I need to not get too excited about it because it's just a piece. So, and I'm one of those types that I go all in when I'm in. So I don't want to go all in and then like, oh, crud, this was just a little piece and I went like heart and soul totally into it when I should have just done that piece and then moved on.
Yes. Okay. This is why it's so important to start with the end game in mind. And then that way you can build your way to the end game. And it's great that you know what you don't want. That is almost as important as knowing what you do want. And we don't really need much clarity beyond you want to do a group program of some sort with some retreats in there in some configuration. So we know that. And it's in the category of coaching and healing, correct?
Yeah.
So where we should go, that's enough. That's enough to continue to build this out. And now we want to go to, all right, we know it's a group coaching healing program with some options of retreats. Who's it for?
Definitely more women. It's not that men aren't there, but I envision more women. And there's a teaching element. I've always been a teacher, so that's part of. I don't find it rewarding to just heal people. As weird as that sounds, I want to empower them.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be a plumber fixing leaky pipes. I want people to know how to do it themselves.
What a great analogy, by the way. You want to teach people how to be their own plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do in Soul Blueprint.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why
I love that. I always say, let's not give people fish. Let's teach them how to fish. Okay. So there's teaching people how to do this for themselves. And then what I would like to do now, I would like to do two things. I would like to start with inviting in your spiritual gift of intuition to connect to your soul client avatar and speak to her. Here's what's happening in the market. Remind me of your human design type again.
Projector. 3-5.
Okay, good. Okay, so projectors are actually more aligned in some ways to what we're evolving to because we are kind of the future of leadership. Projectors typically do better than generators and manifesting generators at sort of honing in and narrowing in and zeroing in. I say that because what's working in today's market doesn't necessarily mean you need to niche down so specific that you're healing just one very, very specific person, but there is a level of getting specific that enables you to rise above the noise. And then beyond getting specific, it's like, what is your unique hook? What is Carla bringing to the table that you're just not hearing? You're always going to bring your unique energy, frequency, and your perspective, which is always going to help you stand out, but also like leaning in deeper to that. What is that hook that is going to set you apart? And that hook doesn't come overnight. It's a journey, but our soul client avatar can help us get there. And I think when we get that, then you can build back to the podcast, which is a great medium to call her in and also a great medium to collect content to write a book, and then using the book to promote the podcast and using the podcast to promote the book and leading everybody to your group offer. leading it all. So everything is working in a nice synchronicity and everything is helping the other thing, right, to grow. So, are you up for connecting to your soul client avatar?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, you're a student of Soul Blueprint, so you know how to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and guide you through it. So, let's go ahead and get comfortable and move your body in any way if you feel like you need to. And then when you're ready, close your eyes down if it feels all right and start to deep belly breathe. Big inhales and big exhales, filling up the lower part of the belly. Coming into the present moment. Feeling yourself sinking deeper and deeper with each belly breath. And placing your awareness at your heart space at the center of your chest. And from your heart space, I invite you to connect to your higher self and the higher self of your soul client avatar. If you're not exactly sure who she is, it doesn't matter. The energy knows where to go. I invite you to be as open and relaxed and inflow and in ease as possible. And we're just curious, what might she have to say? So I'm going to ask the soul client avatar, your soul client avatar's higher self, a few questions. Soul client avatar of Carla, do you have a name?
No.
Is there something I can call you?
Ava.
Nice. Ava, what are your pains at the moment that Carla is uniquely designed to help you alleviate?
Empty space in my heart, that like a cavity, um like something's missing.
Hmm. And how does that negatively impact your life?
I keep searching for stuff that is the wrong stuff.
Why
Filling
is
it
there?
with like eating or obsessive working out or spending other things that try and fill that need that is the wrong thing.
Aha. What is that empty space at the heart? Is it an energy wound? Is it something else?
An energy wound, part of it has to do with like self-loathing, um, and not seeing what's possible because of what I've believed and I've heard from other people about me.
Aha. So believing other people's stories about you.
Yes.
Nice. Not that that's nice, but nice that that's coming through with clarity. Um, what feels most painful?
That I give too much and there's nothing left for me to to build me up.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. How does that make you feel emotionally?
It's like I'm on this black void cycle, and I I beat myself up because I know, verbally, because I know I shouldn't be, and I know I'm supposed to be doing supposed to, in quotes. Um, I'm supposed to be doing these things and for myself, and I don't. So I beat myself up. And then I have the other things I have to do for other people. So I keep going in this cycle that I know I'm creating, and I just can't get off.
Hmm.
I need a safe place to land. That's it.
How does this negatively affect your everyday life? Let's say Tuesday at 3 p.m. What are you doing Tuesday at 3 p.m.? How this hole in your heart, this empty space, negatively impacts your everyday experience?
I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
I have no energy for me, for others. I'm a zombie.
Mm. All right, Ava, you're doing great. Stay with me. Let's turn this around and talk about your dreams. What do you dream for yourself that you don't have now that Carla can help you achieve?
I want to love myself, feel whole, and step into the story, my contract, my what I signed up to come here for, to Earth, and stop avoiding that and step into that.
Yeah, I love that. How would that make your life better on the everyday if you stepped into your story?
I would have the energy to do what I need to because I would be focused and um, have an understanding that I don't have now. I don't know what that understanding is, but I would have an understanding.
Yes. And what would having more energy and more focus get you?
It would fill that hole inside me because that hole was there because it was created so I go and live out what I'm supposed to live out. And I would have joy and um, it wouldn't all be easy at all, but I would have that inner peace because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to instead of listening to what others say.
Yeah. And Ava, what do you need from Carla on a soul level? What do you need from her?
I just keep seeing this vase where my hole is. And she's just holding that container.
Ah. So it's a sacred space. She needs someone who understands how sacred and precious it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ava, is there anything else you want Carla to know?
And I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting.
Yeah. Beautiful. So Carla, are you tapping into something that feels sad for yourself? Or are you feeling sad for Ava or a combination of both?
Both.
And what's feeling sad for you right now?
But I've always known there was more. And I've spent many cycles in this life running away from it because I didn't know how to get there, or it was scary, or as a point in my life, it just was too hard because I had, too many, young kids or work, things that were just too much happening in the physical world.
So you feel like you've been running away from it or caught in it?
Both.
Both. And when those thoughts feel really true, I've been running away from it, I've been caught in it my whole life. What are some of the emotions that get triggered or physical sensations in the body?
Um, just exhaustion and sadness, but also like a knowing, like I've always known deep down, just to tap into it.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a second to just call in your spiritual gift of healing. And we're going to call up this sadness and call up this exhaustion and just giving yourself permission to feel the feels, setting the intention to let go of any protectors that might be holding your blocked energy inside. Yes. Beautiful. I see a beautiful release happening. And you're really healing on behalf of yourself and Ava. So that's really beautiful because there is a piece of your past self that is Ava. And so every time you heal, you become in a much better position to help and serve her on her path. Beautiful. Yes. Nice big release happening. And when you feel ready, I invite you to return to your deep belly breathing and really release on the exhale. Return to your heart space. Return to your connection to your higher self and to Ava. And I just have a couple of follow on questions. My first question is Ava, what's the hook that Carla could say to you or create content around that would really get your attention? What do you most need to hear from her in her podcast and in her book?
I don't know
Ava, what do you really want to hear from Carla?
that I can do it.
Yeah, I love it. And Ava, can you give me any information about who you are? Are you a middle-aged woman? Are you a career woman? Are you a coach? Are you spiritual? If Carla was to hone in on you as a demographic, can you give us any clues as to who you are?
I'm spiritual along my path to know there's something more. So I'm not at the beginning of my journey. Um, older, like 40s, 50s, 60s, kids are gone. And I feel like, unfortunately, it's taken this long to finally invest in myself.
Uh-huh. What about Ava? Would it be spiritual people who have their kids out of the house? Is that I got an intuitive hit when you said finally investing in myself. Could Carla hone in on spiritual women whose kids are more or less out of the house and they finally now can focus on their own spiritual and personal growth?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm going to ask any one last time, Ava, anything else you want Carla to know?
Mm.
Beautiful. All right, now, Carla, I'm going to ask you how you can come back to me. Well done. We got a wealth of information. You did great. I took a bunch of notes. How do you feel?
much lighter. I know everybody says that, but it's true.
That's the best thing I can hear, actually.
Yeah, and not surprised. I mean, I had been sensing that those character traits of Ava, but I hadn't, had a confirmation, so to speak.
Yes. I love this. So listen, I know this is hard for a lot of folks. It's hard for myself and a lot of my clients to really lean in and hone in on Ava. That's that sort of micro content that really stands out. So that means we're talking to her on a micro, minute letter level and not a macro level on sort of wave tops. That type of content can just not rise above the noise. The algorithms don't favor it. So we just have to lean in and get super specific. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't also serve lots and lots of other people who look very different from Ava. We're only talking about your offer, your podcast, and your book that we hone in on Ava, who she is as a person, what are her pains, what are her dreams, what are her needs that you are uniquely designed to support her with. The things that stood out for me, Carla, was that she's a woman. Like if you were to take, let's say, let's put it through the lens of your podcast, and you launched a podcast specifically targeted for women who are in or inching near empty nest, and they've spent their whole life their whole adult life up until now focused on career and kids and family with no space for their own focus. Okay. And they're spiritual, but they're not, they've made enough space for themselves that they have been on a spiritual path, but just haven't really given themselves permission to like dive deep in it. And they have a hole in their heart. I think you should lean into that and make
Okay.
it bold. I mean, Ava said empty space in my heart, which is nice, but let's just go ahead and say there's a bloody hole in the heart. Like, lean into this language, be bold and say, and you've got a hole in your heart. Can you see how that really just specifically calls a person in? So if you fall in that demographic, you're going to be like, oh my God, I have to listen to this podcast. Like, check, 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 check. All of these things apply to me. 10 years ago, you could start a podcast that focused on spiritual women who weren't happy, and you could get a lot of listenership. Those days are gone. The market's too saturated, and it's not a problem. It's an opportunity. It helps us actually to raise our game and get more specific and really focused on not only just being the best, but also being the only, because there's only one Carla. And you are the only. So actually this market is having us lean in to the truth. Like we are the only. There's nobody else who can serve Ava the way that you can. But our brain is going to come in and say, oh, well, if I hone in on this too much, then I'll miss all the other things that also interest me. And I'm just saying you can focus on the other things that interest you. And certainly, if somebody wants to join one of your group programs who says maybe doesn't have kids or is in their 20s or whatever, but you're like, this person is a match, of course, she'll be in your program. This is only your marketing, honing your marketing with your podcast and your book to really call her in. This is the pathway to rising above the noise in 2025 going into 2026. And I think you've got an amazing map here. The other thing that's really stood out to me is the hole in the heart. And then instead of healing it, she's filling it with the wrong stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I think you could really lean into the hole in the heart. Like you've got your demographic of this woman at this point in her life, and she's got a hole in her heart. You could start your podcast with a 5-part series. What does it mean to have a hole in your heart? And all you can just mirror it back to her. You're just mirroring Ava. And when you mirror someone back to them and they start identifying, that's me. Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, I have that problem. Oh my God, it shows up in my life that way. That's when she starts saying, I have to have more of Carla. She gets me. She sees me. She sees my pain. And then also, beyond just mirroring back, then you give her a vision. You give her an identity of the person she really longs to be, the person she knows. You tapped into it, this inner knowing of this. She beats herself up because she's not becoming that person, but
Right.
she knows it's there and you can give her that identity. And what she needs from you is like a cheerleader. You're believing in her. You've got this. You're going to help her tap into the identity, believe in the identity so she can become the identity. How does that all land?
Good and scary. So
yeah, that's where growth doesn't happen inside of our comfort zone. So we're on your edge. We're on your edge, Carla. It should feel a little scary, not stressed. I had Laura Michelle on the podcast and she called it nerve excitement. It's like nervous and excited.
Yes.
once nerve excitement, that's where you are on your edge, on your creative edge, and that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
I really think leaning into this hole in the heart, that could be the name, that could be your program. Now, I like to lead with, I like to name things after things I want. And I like to lead with pleasure, like the desire, the pleasure content than the pain.
Right.
So you could find a way to like, well, what's on the other side? Or the kind of the go from the hole in the heart to fulfilled and complete. But this whole like filling it with stop filling that hole in your heart with the wrong stuff. I mean, that could be like the lead of the landing page of your offer. Stop filling that hole in your heart with the wrong stuff. And I think in the 21st century, we can fill it with AI very easily.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's like AI can be such a service of good and help us with all sorts of things. But when it comes to filling the hole in the heart, AI plays a very small role there. It can kind of help us work out like, okay, we can talk through what's really going on. But beyond that, like I think we can get so distracted, social media news feeds, chatting with AI, busying ourselves, Netflix binging, wine, food, all the things. And I feel like this is a very timely problem, pain point for where we are and the evolution of humanity. And you said it at the start. Your divine guidance team is saying you have something important to teach as we evolve. I believe one of the biggest things that we need to learn how to do as a human race is how to marry the positive side of technology without bringing in all the shadow of it. Like, how do we evolve to higher consciousness and integrate technology into our experience in a way that helps humanity to evolve? And I feel like one of the slippery slopes we're on is we overfill ourselves with technology in an average day. Most of us are way overfilling into technology. I am in an average day. So you don't have to like focus too much in on that. But I really think that this is part of I'm filling myself with the wrong stuff. Yes, it's wine. Yes, it's maybe, chocolate. But I also think it's just like being overly plugged into technology.
Yeah, because then you don't have to connect. You don't have to have feelings you don't have to have the feelings you need to be having. You're having other feelings.
And you're distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited, Carla. Like, what do you feel like? Okay, let's go back to the offer. Thinking about everything Ava said, she's got a hole in her heart. She's filling it with the wrong stuff. She just longs to stop avoiding and step into her true story. That also grabbed me when she said that. She longs to feel whole. She longs to love herself and step into her true story. So given everything she said, what do you think potentially a group container could look like that she would enroll into?
I don't know. Cause I think, part of it is, and this is, I'm trying not to let my mind take over, right? Because that's what it does. That's its job. um, but to find her true story, she's got to remember that. So part of that is healing and clearing and getting rid of blockages and programming, which all takes time, right? It took years, sometimes generations to get there. So I'm starting to how do you keep someone invested in something long term, because we're so used to having everything quick, you know? Um,
Maybe it's a membership.
mm-hmm.
I do feel a sense you're clear you don't want to do one-on-ones. You're clear you want to do groups. What is group? Community. What do memberships provide you? Community. I believe as the coaching and healing industry evolves, one of the things people are going to want to invest in is community. They will pay money to go into containers that are collected with like-minded people. And they don't have to worry about collecting the people, and they don't have to worry about managing the group. You do that, right? And they are wanting to pay for that. So maybe it's this membership. Come with me on the long haul. As we heal that hole in your heart, we help you to stop filling it with the wrong things. And instead, you first heal it and then you start pouring in love into it, self-love. You go onto the path of the story that you're really here to live. And I'm here, Carla, to help you through the long haul of it. Join for a year, join for 2. Be here as long as you want to be here. This is where you come to heal, experience community, pour into your heart what it's longing for.
And that sounds exciting to me. It also sounds challenging, but I mean, because then I can do I have a gift of container. I don't know if that's a gift, but people just come to, I mean, there was a time in my life where I would not make eye contact in the grocery store because people I didn't even know would come and tell me all their trauma. So I'm not at that stage anymore, but in terms of disengaging. But so I know and I don't know how I do it. It just happens. So I know I can do that. And that I can focus on the container rather than all the individuals. Because that when I work one-on-one, that's it drags me down because I get caught in their story and they start spiraling. And it's just exhausting for me. So, yeah.
So this is a breadcrumb. You have the gift. It is a gift to create containers and hold containers. Do you happen to know your profile line in your human design?
It's the 3-5.
3-5. Sorry, you said that. Yep. Okay. Yep. So 5s tend to be wonderful community leaders because you're the karmic mirror and you're mirroring back to them. Yes, their pain. So you're mirroring back to them the hole in the heart and what they're doing to fill it with the wrong stuff. And then you're going to mirror back to them how to fill it with how to heal it first and fill it with the right stuff. So I think a membership would be incredible. And now listen, you're a projector, so you have to watch your energy. You build in breaks. Maybe the membership doesn't do anything for the month of August or anything for the month of December. Like you can, I'm a projector. I've done many memberships throughout my career. I've built in breaks. I've created it exactly how I want to create it to honor my energy so I don't get burnt out. So you get to do that when you create your container. What I would recommend for you to do is have that be your sort of working offer until you get more clarity and something arrives and feels better, so that as you build your podcast and your book, you've got an end state in mind, even if that end state shifts a little bit. How does that feel?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just imagine then we're going to be enrolling people into the Heal Your Heart membership. Heal that hole in your heart membership. Now let's go back to the podcast. What would be an exciting hook or angle for your podcast that would get people excited to join your container?
Well, I liked your idea of, a 5-part series or whatever. Um, and um, and I'm like you. I don't like to focus on the negative, so I'd have to figure out what the opposite of heal your heart would be. I mean, other than fill your heart with good stuff. I mean, that's not very exciting. um, but I know that's a piece of it. Yeah, now I'm starting to get distracted.
Oh, that's okay.
What was your question again?
Well, let's just spend 1 second on the podcast, and then we can get you some buffalo steps. And
Okay.
so let's go to Ava's dreams. She dreams to love herself, feel whole, step into the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Step into your
When
story.
when you said that, Carla, I got goosebumps. Step into your story. That's the name of a podcast.
Yes.
Bring all of your gifts to light, how you're a writer and a storyteller and a container holder. Step into your story with Carla Goldberg.
Hopefully there's not another one already out there. Called Step Into Your Story.
Well, if not, you could do, you know what, with podcasts, I would look and see if you find something, make sure that it's still active. Because lots and lots of podcasts, they
Yeah.
uploaded their last episode in 2020. So make sure it's still active. And if there is one that is specifically that, just change like one word, step into the story. Or you can say, step in, the name of your podcast can be if there is already a step into your story, then you can make yours step into your story with Carla Goldberg.
Okay.
This is super exciting.
Yes. Now I'm getting excited.
Yes. That's a name of a book too, by the way.
Yeah. And a movie and a sequel. No.
Exactly. And my friend, it's also the name of a membership.
Yes.
So you don't have to give it's not that everything has to be the same title, but when it works that everything could be the same title, you're on the right path. Because you're building everything. Your membership is going to promote your podcast. Your podcast is going to promote your book. Your book is going to promote your membership. And it's just going to, cycle off of each other. And when this happens, that's when things really energetic momentum really starts to shift in your business. And momentum gets made.
Yes. I like that.
I love it. How do you feel now compared to the start of the call?
Oh, much, much better, clearer. And it was funny because coming into the call, I kind of felt like I had clarity compared to where I had been. It's like I got a whole typical Allison. I got a whole new upgrade from where I thought I was.
Beautiful. Well, it shows to me that you've already done a ton of work, and that was clear. So that's exactly what we did. We just up-leveled all the work you've already done. So my Buffalo steps for you, Carla, are to play around with this step into your story.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody has it on Apple Podcast, I would register for an Apple Podcast account and just claim it. Claim it and get it out there. So that way, if anybody else is thinking about something similar, they can see that you've already claimed it. And also just claim it to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then spend some time with Ava over the next week or so, exploring into her pains, exploring into her dreams, exploring into her needs. Ask her if she likes this podcast and help her co-create with her your first 5 episodes. For me, I would love for you to come out of the gates of your podcast with hey, let's take a look at this hole in your heart that you're filling with the wrong stuff. Because that's to me really powerful. but then see what she has to say about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. So, Carla, I know you're a listener to the show. I would love to
Yes.
ask you to leave our listeners with an invitation, inviting them anywhere you wish them to go.
I would say, I'm going to say, um, that leaning in to that inner voice is the key to moving forward. And a lot of times we try and rationalize it or downplay it, or nothing magical happened the last time I did something silly I was told to do, so it's not valid. But I really want to encourage everyone to press into that, because that is where the magic happens. That's how I found Allison. And that is where the magic is. And, it's not outside of you. It's not, there isn't some person who has, the magic healing that's gonna, cure you. It's inside you, and you can learn that. And that's for everybody. So I just encourage people to lean into that intuition, and just do what it says. I know that sounds easy, but that's my takeaway.
Love that invitation. And it is like all things in the spiritual realm, it's both simple and profound at the same time. So lean into the ease of it. And I believe in this so much. In fact, Carla, I designed an entire signature certification program around it called Soul Blueprint. So if you'd like my help in helping you, to listener, to lean into your spiritual gift of intuition and your other spiritual gifts so that you can do this for yourself, you can check it out at AllisonScammell.com/soul blueprint. Carla, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart and your dreams on the show. I know so many people are going to relate to this, and you are just an absolute joy. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me. And I have learned so much just following your podcast and being a student of Soul Blueprint. It's just been amazing, this journey. And even just since we started working a few months, I've grown so much, and I'm like blown away. What's it going to look like when I'm, done with my stint of Soul Blueprint? So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to our travels together.
Me too. And it's funny, like, you're in a cohort right now that started not even 2 months ago. It feels like we've done so much in like 6 weeks. Doesn't it feel like more than 6 weeks?
Yeah, it does.
It does. So it is really exciting. We do cover a lot of ground, and there is a lot of magic, but I'm so happy we're connected, and I'm so happy to be on this path with you. And thank you again for sharing your wisdom today on Soul Guide Radio.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you so much, dear listener, for tuning in each and every week. What this soul session really is a reminder that when something inside of you feels empty or heavy or unresolved, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's just awareness that your soul is trying to get your attention. Your longing, your ache, your exhaustion, they're all invitations to reconnect with your power, your purpose, the truth of who you really are. And we start that each and every time by inviting in our spiritual gifts, just like Carla did today. So if you're feeling your own version of this story, if you've been carrying around a wound you're finally ready to heal, or stepping into a path you've been avoiding for some time, I invite you to take a second, take some deep breaths, invite in your spiritual gift of intuition, to invite in your higher self, and your higher self will always meet you when you're ready. And as always, until next time, may your soul guide the way.